This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
Well, it's a new era in the NBA, the in-season tournament, getting underway on Friday with the Los Angeles Lakers visiting. Let's get a scouting report on what to expect from a man who's, I think, seen more Suns basketball than anybody in the history of the franchise. The one, the only, Tom Leander, your pre- and post-game show host. And Tom, what do you expect in the coming days and weeks here as the Suns, I guess, paint the floor purple and get ready to play for a title here?
Yeah, I expect everybody's going to have to wear sunglasses. I mean, those are some pretty loud courts, but it's fun. I mean, I think it's really for the fans, and the NBA is certainly pushing this for more interest earlier in the season, trying to compete with the NFL. I don't think the players around the league really are thinking about it too much. They still go out and play as hard as they can and try to win every game. What's going to be interesting is, when they get to tiebreakers, trying to figure out who's going to make the knockout rounds and go to the tournament in Las Vegas, they might be calculating point totals and point spreads. So you're going to be maybe looking at teams at the end of the game sticking with some of their starters and trying to score some more points and lead by more, by more points so that they can get into that final round. But for the most part, I think it's going to be, games as usual, except for the city edition jerseys in the courts.
Well, if memory serves, the Suns' all-time high for points in a game for a franchise was maybe 91, right before they moved to the new arenas, the old Madhouse at McDowell. They put up close to 160. I think it was against the Nuggets, Cedric Ceballos.
It was.
Yes. So could we maybe see, if the big three get back, the Suns trying to perhaps light up the scoreboard, run up the score to make sure they have a smoother path to Las Vegas for the championship?
Does that mean you want KJ, Tom Chambers, and Jeff Hornacek, that big three? Because they were the part of the big three when they scored 162.
Bring them back. You know what? Put together a team of those guys in this tournament. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm really excited to see the big three together. I was encouraged when I saw Book shooting around before the game yesterday in Chicago. Beal, I thought, looked really good defensively. I mean, hit his first couple of shots, hit a couple of threes, blocked a couple shots, but he was staying in front of his guy. Obviously, he was winded toward the end of the regulation, but to think about all three of them, and we saw it, various points in training camp and a little bit preseason. But yeah, just having Beal out there with KD, you saw how it opened up the floor, much less having Book out there as well. So yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you're looking at some of these point totals. What I think Indiana had 155 the other night, and teams are scoring 147, 149. So certainly when the Suns are healthy and Nurkic is looking so much better, he's got that chemistry. Obviously with Kevin Durant, and he's hitting the boards and rolling to the basket, and you got Yuta and Gordon and Grayson. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the Suns are going to score at least 150 a number of times this season.
So when do you expect Devin Booker back?
I wouldn't be surprised if he plays against the Lakers tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't talked to the trainers, but again, I was talking to Tom Chambers, and this is back in the day when I played a lot of basketball. I had a calf strain, and I know it took a couple of weeks, sometimes a month to get over it, and I wasn't even on the court. I mean, it was really, really sensitive. So just to see Book bouncing around and launching off of both feet and shooting threes, I mean, to me that was a really good signal, because if that calf strain was a deep one, he probably wouldn't be putting any pressure on that leg. But again, these guys, how cautious they are now, Mark. I mean, you've got all the trainers and you have all the tests and all the, as Book will say, all the boxes that need to be checked. So I'm not sure how many of those boxes have been checked. And it probably is not going to be enough, again, if he's just warming up and, unless he got some practice time in today and was running full court and feels really good, but they're always going to play it safe.
Where does checking the box of winning the in-season tournament rank on the Suns' road to winning an actual NBA championship?
Well, if I were the players, that box would be up pretty high, because each one of them, if you win that championship, that in-season tournament, that's $500,000. That's $500,000. So that's pretty good motivation. Then you have the coaches, they're going to cash out as well. I think the NBA is smart. I mean, they dangled a big pot of gold out there for the players and the coaches. So that certainly is going to catch their attention. A lot of them are making some pretty good coin as it is, but still, I think you're going to see even more and more motivation from the players after they see that first team hoist the trophy and see that they got to spend 3 or 4 days in Las Vegas, which all NBA players seem to enjoy that. So I think as the tournament goes on over the years, you're going to see more anticipation from the players.
All right, so the scale is like Olympic basketball, the Pro Bowl maybe over here, World Baseball Classic. Where do you think the NBA in-season tournament fits on that scale?
Oh man, you talk about Olympic gold. I mean, Olympic gold is way out there, and yeah, World Baseball Classic is certainly that's actually probably a really good comparison, Mark. I mean, the World Baseball Classic, nobody paid a whole lot of attention to that, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not even sure when they started it, but I think that's the same kind of growth you'll see with this in-season tournament. And earlier in the season, it's just a matter of guys being healthy. I mean, look at the Lakers, and Anthony Davis has already gone down with a hip injury, and Book has had his issues, and Beal. So they're trying to ramp this up early in the season, but a lot of times guys are having early season injuries because their bodies are adjusting to the grueling schedule of 82 games in the regular season.
Well, what is the incentive for the team to really make a run at this and guys to push through injuries? Is it financial? Is it chemistry? What will we see as we get towards Thanksgiving here and maybe the competitive juices start coming out for these guys?
Yeah, definitely chemistry for sure. I mean, that's something they want to work on. You don't want to go backwards, right? So you want to develop the chemistry, especially with a team like the Suns with 13 new guys. I mean, Denver already has kicked in. Their chemistry is already there. But, that's something that the team is always going to work on and try to improve on their offensive sets, on their defensive rotation. So I think it's just the normal growth throughout the course of the season. And then you're going to throw this tournament in there for a little bit more juice and attention, more eyeballs. And, it's going to be fun for those teams, those 8 teams that are going to make it to Las Vegas, and you'll have the preliminary rounds, those knockout rounds, and then the championship. And the other teams are going to be sitting at home going, that looks like fun. Hey, let's go for it next year.
Have you seen the court in person? The purple, I guess, what do we call on the court? The purple monster? What's a good name for it?
I really have. I've seen it on a graphic, but I haven't seen it down on the court. So I'm actually looking forward to that tomorrow. But again, you look at the teams that are in the Suns bracket, because you start with the Lakers, and that rivalry is already there. The Utah Jazz are up and coming. You've got the Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trail Blazers. Now that makes it a little even more intriguing because DA is playing some pretty good basketball early in the season for Portland. It's unfortunate John Morant won't be active until later in the season, but that's a good grouping and some good competition. But again, you're in the Western Conference. You're trying to win all your games, especially on the road. I mean, they're going to break it up. It's 4 games to determine who goes into the tournament, 2 at home, 2 on the road. And you always want to make a good showing, obviously at home, but try to boost that road record as well. So I kind of like the pairings as it is this season for the Suns, and to start it out with the Lakers tomorrow night as that first in-season tournament game, qualifying game, is really fun for the fans and for the players themselves.
And just to give people an idea of what the bracket looks like, how you get to Las Vegas.
Yeah, so basically the Suns are in a group of 5 teams, so they'll play 4 games. There's 6 groups throughout the course of the NBA, which then means all 30 teams. So they'll play 4 games, and then they take the best record from all 6 of those groups. So those 6 teams will qualify, and then you'll get the 2 wild cards. So those are the next 2 best records. And again, with only 4 games, there are going to be a bunch of ties. That's why I talk about that tiebreaker, which total points scored and how many points you won by. That's how they're going to determine who the 2 wild cards are going to be.
And if the Suns do hoist the in-season tournament championship trophy, would you consider painting your living room purple?
No, I want the real deal, Mark. Well, first of all, you said that I've seen more basketball games than anybody. Don't ever say that. Al McCoy has definitely got that honor. But I think I feel the same, and Al would chime in as well that, in-season tournament, yeah, that trophy would be nice, but no, man, we're still waiting for the big one, the real trophy, the championship, NBA championship trophy. In-season would be nice, and maybe that's a step in that direction.
All right, we look forward to hearing your voice on the broadcast, the Lakers and the Suns on Friday night. Tom Leander on the Suns Game Time pregame show joining us here on Arizona's Family. Have a fun month here, and hopefully it does end with me trying to convince you to paint your living room purple once again.
Ain't happening. Unless you break into my house, and I have 3 crazy dogs, so I don't suggest that.
This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.